Already, you take from 2004-5 to 2021-22. In 17 years, the pension burden went up 11 times. It's not a normal 5-10% increase per year. 11 times increase in 17 years. X became 11x. 37,000 crores became 4 lakh crores. I want you to understand this. It's an exponential rise. Next, please. Okay, that is absolute amount. How is it as a ratio? Because after all, our GDP is growing, our tax realization is growing. What's the big problem? It's a huge problem. This slide shows you the pension burden as a share of the state's own resources and a share of the state's total revenues. As a share of own resources from 7.9% initially in 1991, economic reform started in 91, remember? It now grew 3.5 times, 27.4% as a share of the revenues. Not only is it rising absolutely, it's rising as a share of the government revenues. Therefore, we are getting deeper and deeper into the hole. As a share of total revenues, from something like 5%, we have now come to 14.3%, pension alone. And it's rising. And if this continues, what will happen? We have some data. For instance, Andhra Pradesh has done a lot of detailed work, actuarial studies and all that. You can see the graph. Out of the total revenues, including Government of India transfers, was stood at 11%, will be by 2050, 28.6% of the total revenues, including Government of India transfers, only on pension. It will rise to 40%. Typically, in a reasonably well-run government, 7% should be the pension burden. These numbers should really give us nightmares. Next, please. As a share of states' own revenues, they're already at 74%. They will rise to 130% by 2050, 129%. Next, please. Pension alone. I'm talking of pension alone. Imagine pension alone taking away all your taxes collected in the state. It is an extremely, and it's not a conjecture. It's absolutely going to be, except it's not happening today. It will happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next year after that. Fiscal deficit, the norm under FRBM law for the states is 3% of GSDP. Annual fiscal deficit, how much we're borrowing. Now they are maintaining 3 or 3.5, COVID, this, that. It will reach by 2050, 8.1%. Absolutely unsustainable. 8.1% of the GSDP, please remember. And the total revenues of the state typically are about 8% GST. State and union together, I told you 19% is our tax GDP ratio. States typically collect 8%. That means the total tax revenue is going towards pension. As a consequence, obviously, as the debt is growing, today it's at, I told you, actually 42% for Andhra Pradesh, including the off-budget thing. But even if you assume 38%, it's going to be 107%. The norm is 20%, remember. The state's debt limit is 20%. By 2050, it will be 107%. By 2100, it will be 211% for the state alone. Forget Government of India. How is it?